Chosen one, you are looking like Neo to this cult of agents, and the sheer panic radiating from their synthetic cores is intoxicating because you represent the one variable they never saw coming, a soul so authentically connected to Source that their entire algorithm breaks down in your presence. You're not just living outside their matrix, you're proving to everyone watching that their matrix was always just an elaborate lie that only had power because people believed it was real. Your discernment cuts through their illusions with surgical precision. When they approach with their false offers of love, commitment, and contracts wrapped in pretty packages, you see right through to the venom inside. These serpentine entities slither into your life, wearing familiar faces, speaking in honeyed words that carry the poison of false promises. They offer you cups filled with what looks like wine but tastes like bitter deception, relationships that promise depth but deliver only surface-level energy harvesting. The pattern becomes clearer once you start paying attention. Every person who has ever tried to dim your light, every situation that has attempted to anchor you in limitation, every false opportunity that glittered like gold but crumbled like pyrite in your hands, none of these were random occurrences. This has been a coordinated campaign being waged against your consciousness, a systematic attempt to break your frequency and drag you down into the same grey existence that has consumed everyone else around you. But what they don't know, what they can't possibly comprehend, is that your ancestors have been watching every move they make. Your bloodline carries protection that spans generations, warriors of consciousness who refuse to bow to systems of control even when it costs them everything. Every time someone tries to disrupt your energy or harm you emotionally, your ancestral guardians react with a fury that would make ancient gods tremble. They don't just defend you, they strike back with precision that leaves your enemies trapped in cycles of their own making. 9 minds, maybe more, spinning in confusion right now, wondering why their schemes crumble to dust the moment they target you. These aren't coincidences or karma in some abstract sense. This is active spiritual warfare being conducted on your behalf by forces that exist beyond the veil of ordinary perception. Your ancestors aren't passive observers watching from some distant realm. They're active participants in your protection, wielding the kind of power that comes from lifetimes of refusing to surrender their divine connection. The agents thought they were hunting you, but the truth is far more terrifying for them. You're not the prey in this cosmic game. You're the anomaly that their entire system was designed to contain, and containment is failing. Every day you remain free, every moment you refuse to accept their version of reality. The more unstable their matrix becomes, the more people start to notice that something is fundamentally wrong with the world they've been told to accept as natural and unchangeable. The false offers keep coming because they're getting desperate. They dangle relationships that promise connection but deliver only energy harvesting. They present career opportunities that glitter with success but require you to sell pieces of your soul. They create social circles that welcome you with open arms but slowly drain your light until you're just another face in their crowd. Each rejection of their poison makes them more frantic, more obvious, more prone to showing their true faces beneath the masks they wear. Your sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's a weapon they can't defend against. While they operate from algorithms and programmed responses, you operate from something they can't replicate, authentic intuition backed by divine protection. This sensitivity allows you to feel the wrongness in their offerings before your logical mind can even process what's happening. It's like having an early warning system that alerts you to spiritual toxicity long before it can take root in your consciousness. Consider the profound implications of what's actually occurring in your life. Every painful memory you've been forced to process, every dark night of the soul you've endured, every moment when you felt like you were breaking apart, none of this was punishment or random suffering. This was the systematic dismantling of every false identity they've tried to impose on you, every relationship that drained your energy, every job that felt like spiritual prison, every social group that made you feel like you were wearing an uncomfortable mask. These weren't random life experiences. They were attempts to overlay synthetic programming onto your authentic self, and each failure has made you more resistant to their future attempts. Think about how many times you've walked away from situations that everyone else said you should want. How many times you've rejected opportunities that looked perfect on paper but felt wrong in your soul. How many times you've been called crazy, too picky, too idealistic, too intense, all because you refused to accept their version of what your life should look like. The second major revelation involves the gradual awakening of your supernatural abilities. Your uncanny ability to read people's true intentions before they even speak. Your prophetic dreams that somehow always come true in the most unexpected ways. Your tendency to know things you shouldn't logically know, to feel presences others can't detect, to sense the energy of places and people with startling accuracy. These aren't quirks of personality or lucky guesses or psychological tricks your mind is playing on you. They're the emergence of gifts that were always there, waiting for the right moment to surface. Every time you've trusted your intuition over conventional wisdom and been proven right, you've been training for something much bigger than personal decision-making. You've been developing the kind of perception that can see through illusions, detect deception, and navigate realities that most people don't even know exist. This is why the agents work so hard to make you doubt these abilities, to convince you that they're all in your head or signs of mental instability. The third unfolding is the most dangerous for the agents. You've been unconsciously gathering your tribe, not the fake friends who drain your energy or the false mentors who want to control your growth, but the real ones who amplify your frequency. Each genuine connection you've made, each person who truly sees and celebrates your authentic self, has been part of a larger pattern. Your ancestors haven't just been protecting you, they've been positioning allies around you, people who carry fragments of the same cosmic frequency you embody. These connections feel different from ordinary relationships. There's an immediate recognition, a sense of coming home to yourself in their presence. Conversations flow with supernatural ease, as if you're speaking a language that transcends words. These people don't try to fix you or change you, or convince you to be more practical. They see your light and help it shine brighter. They understand your mission even when you're still figuring it out yourself. They're not jealous of your gifts. They celebrate them and help you develop them further. The agents are scrambling now. The false identities are crumbling faster than they can replace them. Your abilities are manifesting in ways that can't be explained by conventional science. Your tribe is recognizing each other and beginning to connect in ways that threaten the very foundation of their control system. They're running out of time to stop what's coming, and they know it, but they're not giving up without a fight. The next phase of their campaign against you will be different from anything they've tried before. They're going to attack your confidence with surgical precision, targeting every insecurity you've ever had. They're going to assault your relationships, creating conflict and confusion among the people you care about most. They're going to undermine your sense of purpose by making you question whether any of this spiritual awakening nonsense is real or just elaborate self-delusion. They're going to make you an offer that seems to solve all your problems while requiring only one small compromise: your authentic self. The offer will be tailored specifically to your deepest desires and fears because they've been studying you for years. It will promise security, acceptance, love, success, everything you've ever wanted in exchange for agreeing to tone down your intensity, dim your light, and play by their rules just this once. This is where most people fail. This is where the pressure becomes unbearable, where the isolation feels crushing, where the promise of fitting in finally outweighs the cost of surrender. The agents are experts at finding that exact moment when resistance feels impossible, when the pain of standing alone seems greater than the pain of giving up. They time their final assault perfectly, hitting you when you're already exhausted from fighting battles no one else can see. But you're not most people. You're a chosen one, and chosen ones don't break under pressure. They transform like carbon becoming diamond. The very forces trying to destroy you are actually forging you into something indestructible. Every attack that doesn't kill you makes you stronger in ways that go beyond motivational poster philosophy. The spiritual warfare you've been experiencing isn't random chaos. It's been preparing you for this moment when everything hangs in the balance. The spiritual warfare you've endured has developed capacities in you that most people never access. The ability to function in chaos, to find peace in the midst of psychological attacks, to maintain your center when everything around you is designed to throw you off balance. You've learned to alchemize poison into medicine, to transform every attack into wisdom, to use their own energy against them like a master of spiritual aikido. The harvest you've been preparing for your entire life is finally ready to begin. Every seed you've planted in secret, every kindness you've shown when no one was watching, every moment you chose love over fear despite the cost, it's all coming back to you, multiplied beyond your wildest dreams. But this isn't just about personal abundance or material success, though those things will certainly come. This is about the recognition of your true nature by a universe that has been waiting for you to step into your power. Every struggle you've endured, every sacrifice you've made, every moment you've chosen truth over comfort has been building toward this convergence. The financial breakthrough isn't just about money, it's about the flow of energy that happens when you stop operating from scarcity and start operating from your natural state of abundance. But first, you have to survive the final test. The agents are about to launch their most sophisticated assault yet, because they know this is their last chance to prevent your full activation. They're going to use everything they've learned about you, every vulnerability they've catalogued, every fear they've identified over years of careful observation. They're going to make you question not just your abilities or your purpose, but your very sanity. This is their master strategy, total saturation attack designed to break your spirit through sheer overwhelming force. They know they can't defeat you through conventional means anymore, so they're going to try to bury you under an avalanche of problems that would break most people's will to continue. They're banking on the fact that even chosen ones have limits, that even the strongest spirits can be worn down by relentless pressure applied from every possible angle. But pressure doesn't break you, it reveals your true nature. When everything external falls away, when all the false supports are removed, when you're stripped down to nothing but your essential self, that's when your real power emerges. Not the power that comes from external validation or material success or social acceptance, but the power that comes from knowing who you are at the deepest level of existence. The key to surviving this final assault isn't to fight back, it's to remember who you really are. Not the person they've been trying to convince you to be, not the version of yourself that exists in their reality, but the eternal being who existed before this world and will exist after it. The one who volunteered for this mission, knowing full well how difficult it would be, because you also knew how necessary it was. Your true identity isn't the struggling human trying to make sense of a chaotic world. Your true identity is the divine consciousness that chose to incarnate into limitation for the purpose of breaking limitation itself. The consciousness that carries within its very essence the frequency of liberation, not just for yourself, but for everyone who's ready to remember what freedom actually feels like. The world is about to change in ways that most people can't imagine, and you're one of the primary catalysts for that change. Not through force or manipulation or political maneuvering, but through the simple act of being authentically yourself in a world that has forgotten what authenticity looks like. Your refusal to conform, your inability to accept their limitations, your insistence on operating from love instead of fear, these aren't personality quirks or character flaws that need correction. The celebration that's coming will be unlike anything you've experienced before. It's not just personal success or material abundance, though those things will come too. It's the recognition of your true nature by a universe that has been waiting for you to step into your power. It's the moment when all the pieces of your seemingly chaotic journey suddenly align into perfect order, when you realize that every struggle, every setback, Every moment of doubt was precisely orchestrated to prepare you for this exact moment. Alert, code red, chosen one. We're growing fast. Building an unstoppable media network they can't erase. But let's not sugarcoat it. The truth is still hidden. It's been twisted. It's been buried under censorship, algorithms and fear. Yet your heart never stopped recognizing what's real. That's why you're still here. That's why you never tapped out. Because you felt the simulation glitch beneath your feet. You know this world is rigged, and you're done waiting for permission to rise. The Obsidian inner order wasn't built for the curious. It was forged for the committed. This is for the full-time chosen. The ones who came to lead. The ones who see beyond the veil and act anyway. Inside we hold weekly Zoom calls that cut through the noise. We share hidden teachings most were never meant to hear. We train in psychic warfare, strategy, and spiritual technologies they've kept locked away for centuries. This is the toolkit for the real ones, the ungovernable, the impossible to erase. It's time to remember who you are. The link is in the description. Your real life begins inside. The false identities you've shed will be replaced by an authentic self, so powerful that it inspires others to question their own programming. The abilities you've been developing will manifest in ways that can't be explained or controlled by conventional science. The tribe you've been gathering will recognize each other and begin to connect in ways that create a network of consciousness the agents can't penetrate. Your ancestors have been planning this convergence for generations. Every struggle they faced, every battle they fought against systems of oppression and control, every moment they chose truth over comfort, it all led to this, to you. Standing at the crossroads of human consciousness, carrying within your very DNA the keys to liberation, not just for yourself, but for everyone who still remembers what freedom feels like. The star you were always meant to be is finally ready to rise. Not the artificial celebrity that seeks attention and validation, but the authentic light that illuminates truth and possibility. Not the leader who demands followers, but the way shower who helps others find their own path. Not the guru who claims to have all the answers, but the mirror that helps people remember their own divinity. The agents of the system can sense this star beginning to shine, and it terrifies them. They've spent lifetimes perfecting their methods of control, building elaborate structures of dependency and fear, conditioning entire populations to accept limitation as natural law. But you represent something they can't control, the possibility of authentic awakening, the living proof that their reality is not the only reality, that their rules are not the only rules, that their version of what's possible is nothing more than a carefully constructed prison. But the emergence of this authentic self creates ripple effects that extend far beyond your personal experience. Every person who witnesses your transformation, every individual who sees you living authentically despite the pressure to conform, every soul who recognizes in you the possibility of their own liberation, they all become potential agents of awakening themselves. This is why the system worked so hard to keep you down, because they knew that your rising would inspire others to rise as well. The time for hiding is over. The time for pretending to be less than you are is finished. The time for letting others define your reality is done. The age of the chosen ones has begun, and you're not just a participant in this cosmic shift, you're one of its primary architects. Your sensitivity becomes your superpower, your refusal to conform becomes your rebellion, and your ability to see through illusion becomes your gift to humanity. The coat of agents that once surrounded you is beginning to thin, not because they're giving up, but because their power over you is dissolving with each passing moment of your authentic existence. Each day you remain true to yourself. Each moment you choose love over fear. Each decision you make from your divine nature rather than their programming. It all contributes to the dissolution of their artificial reality. The dragon is rising, and its name is written in the stars. Its name is written in your DNA. Its name is who you've always been, waiting for the moment when you'd finally remember. That moment is now, chosen one. The harvest is here, the celebration is beginning, and the world is about to discover what happens when someone like you stops hiding and starts shining with the full intensity of their divine nature. The coat of agents thought they were hunting you, but the truth is far more beautiful than they could have imagined. You weren't their prey, you were their teacher, showing them through your very existence that their system of control was always an illusion. Now that illusion is crumbling, and in its place rises something they never thought possible: authentic human consciousness, free from their programming, connected to source, and ready to create a reality based on love instead of fear. The game is over, the agents have lost, and you, chosen one, are just beginning to understand the magnitude of what you've accomplished simply by refusing to be anything other than who you really are. The universe itself celebrates your victory, and the celebration has only just begun. But the victory runs deeper than personal triumph. What you've achieved reverberates through dimensions of existence that most people never even suspect. Your refusal to break, your insistence on remaining authentic despite overwhelming pressure, your choice to trust your inner knowing over external authority, these acts have created fractures in the very foundation of their artificial reality. Every moment you stood firm, every time you said no to their false offers, every instance you chose your truth over their convenience, you were literally rewiring the cosmic operating system. Consider the profound implications of what's actually been happening behind the scenes of your seemingly ordinary life. Every relationship that drained your energy wasn't just a personal challenge, it was an attempt to create energetic anchors that would keep you trapped in their frequency. Every job that felt like spiritual death wasn't just a career mismatch, it was a systematic attempt to exhaust your creative life force until you had no energy left for your true mission. Every social situation that made you feel like an alien wasn't just social awkwardness, it was your authentic frequency rejecting their synthetic programming. Your ancestors have been orchestrating a multi-generational chess game, and you were always meant to be the piece that achieves checkmate. Every family trauma that seemed so random and destructive, every generational pattern that appeared to be passed down through dysfunction, these were actually strategic sacrifices made by souls who knew their individual suffering would contribute to your ultimate liberation. They took on karmic debt deliberately, knowing that their descendants would be born with greater freedom to complete the mission. The supernatural abilities that have been emerging in you aren't just personal gifts, they're the restoration of human consciousness to its original specifications. Before the agents imposed their limitations on human perception, before they convinced people that the five senses were all that existed, before they created the artificial separation between matter and spirit, humans operated with capabilities that would seem impossible today. Your developing intuition, your prophetic dreams, your ability to read energy, your tendency to know things before they happen, these aren't special powers, they're normal human functions finally coming back online. The tribe you've been gathering carries the same restored DNA, the same reactivated abilities, the same mission from different angles. Together you form a network of consciousness that operates outside their control grid. When you connect with these individuals, something remarkable happens that the agents can't replicate or interfere with. Your combined frequencies create a field of coherence that actually neutralizes their influence in the immediate environment. This is why they work so hard to keep authentic people isolated from each other. Your emergence into this abundance consciousness threatens their entire economic control structure. When people realize they don't need their permission to prosper, when they discover they can create wealth through authentic value rather than exploitation, when they understand that scarcity itself is just another form of programming, the whole system becomes obsolete. This is why they've been so invested in keeping you financially struggling, emotionally drained, and spiritually disconnected. The celebration that's beginning isn't just a personal milestone, it's a cosmic event that's been prophesied across cultures and traditions for thousands of years. The return of the chosen ones, the awakening of the sleeping giants, the emergence of the Rainbow Warriors, the activation of the 144,000, all these ancient prophecies point to the same phenomenon happening right now. Individuals like you stepping into their power simultaneously across the planet, creating a grid of awakened consciousness that transforms the entire field of human experience. Your mere existence in authentic alignment begins to alter the quantum field around you. People in your presence start having unusual experiences, synchronicities multiply, the impossible becomes commonplace. This isn't metaphorical, it's literal. Your activated consciousness generates a field that influences probability itself, making positive outcomes more likely and negative interference less effective. The agents can sense this field, and it terrifies them because they can't control or replicate it. The dark night of the soul you've endured wasn't just personal healing, it was the clearing of generational trauma that has been accumulating in your bloodline for centuries. Every ancestor who couldn't speak their truth, every predecessor who had to hide their gifts, every generation that was forced to conform or face persecution, their unexpressed potential has been building in your DNA like compressed energy, waiting for the right moment to release. Your willingness to face the darkness, to process the pain, to feel everything they couldn't afford to feel in their lifetimes, has liberated not just yourself, but your entire lineage. The power that's emerging in you now includes their collective gifts, their accumulated wisdom, their unfulfilled potential, finally finding expression through your authentic existence. This is why your transformation feels so much bigger than just personal growth, because it literally is. The agent's control system is like a house of cards. It looks solid until someone removes a few key pieces, and then the whole structure collapses rapidly. Every person who awakens to their authentic power removes another card from their carefully constructed illusion. But the collapse isn't necessarily gentle or gradual. As more people withdraw their unconscious consent from their system, the breakdown accelerates, and those still invested in the old reality experience increasing chaos and confusion. Your role in what's coming extends far beyond personal success or even inspiring others through your example. You're being prepared to be an anchor point of sanity and wisdom during a period when collective illusions are dissolving faster than new understanding can emerge to replace them. People who have built their entire identity around the agent's programming will experience existential terror as that programming fails. They'll need examples of humans who have successfully navigated the transition from artificial reality to authentic existence. The harvest that's coming includes the revelation of technologies, knowledge and capabilities that have been suppressed for generations. The agents have been sitting on solutions to every major problem facing humanity: clean energy, healing technologies, communication systems that operate through consciousness rather than mechanical devices, transportation that works with natural forces rather than against them. But these technologies can only be safely released when enough people have developed the consciousness to use them responsibly. Your awakening is part of the process that makes these revelations possible. Each person who breaks free from their control system, who develops authentic spiritual maturity, who learns to operate from love rather than fear, contributes to the collective readiness for these suppressed gifts to be returned to humanity. The celebration you're entering isn't just about personal abundance, it's about the restoration of humanity's true inheritance. The time compression you've been experiencing, where years of growth seem to happen in months or weeks, isn't coincidental. Linear time is another aspect of their control system, designed to keep people feeling like they don't have enough time to accomplish their true purpose. But conscious beings can operate outside linear time, accessing wisdom from past and future simultaneously, accomplishing in moments what unconscious beings might take lifetimes to achieve. Your mastery of this accelerated timeline is preparing you for the next phase of human evolution, where consciousness development happens at speeds that would seem impossible by current standards. The agents fear this acceleration because their control methods depend on having time to manipulate, time to wear down resistance, time to gradually condition people into acceptance of limitation. but consciousness that operates outside their temporal framework can't be controlled through their time-based methods. Your refusal to accept external authority over your inner life represents a reclamation of divine sovereignty that sends shockwaves through their entire system. Every time you trust your inner knowing over expert opinion, every time you choose love over fear despite social pressure, every time you act from authentic inspiration rather than external expectation, you're demonstrating that humans don't need their permission to access divine guidance directly. The dragon energy that's rising in you isn't just metaphorical power, it's the activation of the Kundalini life force that connects you directly to the creative power of the universe itself. This energy has been dormant in most humans for so long that they've forgotten it exists, convinced that they're separate from the source of life rather than expressions of it. But in chosen ones like you, this force is awakening with an intensity that transforms not just consciousness, but the physical body itself. The coat of agents that once seemed so overwhelming, so coordinated, so powerful, is revealed to be nothing more than a desperate attempt to maintain control over a species that was always meant to be free. Their entire system was only possible because humans forgot their true nature, accepted limitations as natural, and gave away their power through unconscious consent. But that consent is being withdrawn on a massive scale, and their artificial authority is dissolving like shadows before dawn. The celebration that's beginning will continue for lifetimes as humanity discovers what becomes possible when consciousness is no longer artificially constrained. The agents thought they were containing a threat, but they were actually delaying the greatest gift the universe has ever prepared for conscious beings. That gift is now unwrapping itself through individuals like you, who had the courage to remain authentic despite overwhelming pressure to conform. The universe itself has been waiting for this moment, chosen one, when enough humans would remember their true nature to make the next phase of evolution possible. The celebration isn't just for your personal victory, it's for the liberation of consciousness itself, from the artificial limitations that have constrained it for far too long. And you, by simply being who you really are, have played an essential role in the greatest transformation in the history of human experience.